So Michelangelo said the statues were already there perfect inside the marble, and all we have to do is chip away what doesn't belong to reveal the masterpiece that's inside. And that to me is the perfect metaphor for what we're doing with EFT, is that best version of ourselves, happiest, healthiest, most successful version of ourselves is already in there. What is all the fear and shame and guilt and doubt? Tap, 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 tap.
Yes.
Chip it away, and it's like, whoa, look what's underneath.
Hi, everyone. As you know, my name is Steph Dodds, and I'm so grateful to talk to Brad Yates today. Welcome, welcome, welcome. It's so nice to have you.
It's so nice to hang out with you again. It's been a while since we've seen each other.
Yeah, it's been a while. I love the way I met Brad. So I have to share the story real quick. I'm a full-on EFT tapper now, and trainer and YouTuber, and it literally all started with you, Brad. I started tapping along with Brad for probably about 2 years before I ever decided to learn a little bit more. Kind of like, I knew that tapping worked and I wasn't sure why or how or what magical thing was happening. And so first of all, just thank you. And now look at what happened. How do you feel, Brad, how do you feel about having this ripple effect in the world and helping people feel better?
I'm thrilled. I just finished this week-long challenge called the Tap Into Madness Challenge, and MAD is an acronym for making a difference. And it's all about, allowing ourselves to make a bigger difference in the world. So it's always, it moves me so much when people say to me, I'm now an EFT practitioner and I'm making a difference in other people's lives because I learned about it from you. So I'm thrilled that I have been able to take part in that, and that, the difference that you're making and the people that you're reaching, that I get to say, I played a small part in that is a good feeling.
So for those that don't know you, tell us a little bit about yourself. And
Oh, Steph, I'm just a guy who taps on his face for a living.
I know. How did you get started with this?
You didn't finish the story of how we met and how
Oh, yes.
I came to that conference. And
yes. So this was so cool. So I'm just like so fired up at this point. I think this was like 2018 or 19. And I am so fired up about EFT. I am tapping every day. I'm starting to see clients, and I am speaking at this Women in Business conference, and maybe just a couple of people there had even heard about EFT tapping. And then one of the gals, I was speaking at night at about 7 p.m. after dinner. And I'm thinking, no one's going to come back for my talk. First of all, they're going to go to dinner and they're not going to come back. And not only did everyone come back, they were like, hey, my friend Brad Yates is here. I don't know if you've heard of him. Would you like to meet him? He might come back for your talk tonight. And I was like, no way. You're kidding me. So no way. And you came back, Brad, and I had Brad Yates sit in the very front row during my hour presentation about how EFT can actually help support women in business, helping us get out of our own way and shine our light and tap away fear, anxiety, and all that. And you were sitting in the front row nodding your head like, yeah, go for it. You're doing it. And I was just like,
it's funny because I think you had said at one point, it's like, oh, it's a little intimidating having you right in the front row. And it's like, yeah, but at the same time, to have someone in the front row who agrees with you.
Yes.
And is like, oh yeah. Because so often, especially when we're teaching something like EFT, you might see some people in the front row going,
totally.
So having someone go, oh no, you are right.
Yes.
Sing it, sister.
It was truly amazing to have you in the front row. I'm like, there's actually an S on the end of techniques. And he's like, I'm like, yes. It really was pretty incredible for me. So,
It was incredible for me too.
yeah.
It was a good co-manifestation.
Yeah. Do you ever get surprised when people have heard about EFT or are doing it? Because it's still, I mean, it's gaining more and more popularity, but not everyone's heard of it yet.
Right. It's so funny because there are some people, it's like, oh yeah, absolutely, EFT, or people who know me, it's like, well, of course I know you. And then there are other people, it's like, what is this?
Mm-hmm.
And even people in personal development I've spoken to and are not familiar with EFT. I'm like, what rock have you been hanging out under? And that's not for any of you who are watching. Well, this is your audience, so they already know. But just in case anyone stumbled on here and doesn't know about EFT, this is not to shame you, because obviously we don't know what we don't know until we hear about it. And so it's not our fault that we haven't heard about it, but it is surprising sometimes the people who I think should have heard of it that haven't.
Mm-hmm.
But that's what we're out here doing, is making sure more and more people hear about it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. It's such an amazing tool. So I want to hear, because I'm now writing a book. It's almost finished. I'm hoping to launch it this summer. I want to hear, how many books have you written now? Tell me about your book process.
Well, so I originally, early on in my career, I co-wrote a book called Freedom at Your Fingertips, where a guy named Ron Ball had reached out to about 20 of us, different EFT practitioners, to each write a chapter. And then it was sometime later that I wrote a children's book. I, working with people and finding out, so many of the issues that people are facing that we're tapping on are stuff that happened in childhood. It's like, if we could help people earlier on. There's a great quote from Bishop Desmond Tutu, who recently passed away. And he said, instead of being at the downriver and pulling people out of the water, maybe we need to go upriver and find out what's putting them in the water in the first place. And so that's what this children's book is for. That's the Wizard's Wish. And it's just trying to find a fun storybook way of introducing kids to tapping. Now, this was an interesting tapping exercise for me, because I wrote the book, I wrote the text for the book, and then had a lot of resistance to doing the illustrations. And I'm sitting there thinking, oh, okay, I probably need a drawing for this, need a drawing for that. Oh, there's probably like 18 drawings I'm going to need to do. Oh, that's going to be so hard. I'm not sure I'm going to do it right. All this, 2 years went by. And finally it's like, and I reached out to a friend of mine, because we can't see what we can't see. And so that's why it's helpful to work with a coach. So I reached out to a friend of mine, and she did some tapping with me. And over the course of the next week, I did 40 drawings.
Wow. You illustrated it yourself?
I illustrated it myself. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So, even physician, heal thyself. But it's reaching out to someone else who could see what I wasn't seeing and tapping that resistance. So yeah, I had been a cartoonist all my life, and I knew that my mom would be so upset if I wrote a children's book and didn't illustrate it myself. So.
Wow, that's so cool. Yeah.
And that's the book that went in the gift bag for Oscar nominees this last week.
That's right. You were just saying you're on, because we're actually neighbors. We live in the same Sacramento area, and you were just on ABC 10.
I was on ABC 10, yeah, through because I had been asked by this PR company about this gift bag. Originally, they reached out to me to offer coaching sessions, because that's in the Oscar gift bag. They always have some life coaching sessions or something like that. And this person who runs a PR agency, actually in England, had reached out to me. And she goes, "Oh yeah, I know your work." And at first I thought, yeah, I don't know, is this serious? And by the time I finally got around to saying, oh yeah, you know what? Okay, this sounds good. I'm game. They'd already found some of their life coach. So, but she said, but your book could go in there. And my wife had recently written a book about thriving in the sandwich generation called Building a Legacy of Love. And I said, all right, this might be a bit cheeky, but could my wife's book be in there too? And she said, well, let me take a look at it and let me talk to the other folks involved. And they said, the book looks great. So a local reporter thought, wow, this is a great connection to the Oscars. And, this couple, it just they thought it made a great story. So they came over before the Oscars and interviewed us. And so we got to be on TV.
How exciting, how fun, and how great to be able to keep sharing and sending out that ripple effect.
Yeah, it was a nice little plug for EFT as there are shots of me reading the book, and then the reporter does a voiceover talking about EFT. It's an emotional freedom technique without the S, but we'll forgive her for that.
Yeah.
So that was very cool. And so just reaching more people with this technique.
Yeah. And I love your story about the illustrations and like getting past our own thing, because really the videos are so, so, so good. I love tapping videos. I do them myself. I still do your videos. I do other tappers videos. And working with someone one-on-one can be so helpful to just go that little extra step of, it's the tapping videos I feel like are perfect if they're exactly what you're going through at that moment.
Right. But there's when you're working with someone and you can talk about a specific thing that's in the way and really make the tapping as specific as possible. That's ideal. There are some people who don't like videos because they think if it's not specific to the person, then don't bother. It's like, well, there's a lot of people getting a lot of benefit from those non-specific videos. And yes, if someone has an opportunity to work with someone one-on-one, by all means, that's totally next level. And yeah, so the thing about the drawing is working with someone to clear up that resistance. And you had mentioned that you've got a book in the works.
I do. And it's such well, first of all, it's my first book, and boy, I needed to tap before I sat down to write every single time. I don't know if you and your wife had the same experience, but to me, I was like, I'd feel a little scattered and I'm like, wait a minute, I have this amazing tool, sit down, tap, and then write. And it was incredible. But now I'm at this point where I'm editing and getting ready to launch it. And I'm like, actually reading. This sounds really dorky, but I have to say, I was so focused on writing it that I didn't really think about reading it. And reading my own stuff. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm really getting vulnerable here and putting my heart out there. So yeah, maybe you can lead me through some of that.
So as you think about putting it out there, the amygdala is going, Steph, what are you thinking?
Exactly. Exactly. It's like, wait. Is that safe out there? Are you sure you want to put it all out there?
We let you write the book. Can't we just leave it at that and not have to deal with anybody's criticism?
Yeah.
They're going to judge you.
Totally. That alert system, just loud and clear, trying to keep me safe.
Absolutely. And that's why I always say self-sabotage is simply misguided self-love. That part of you that stops you from getting it done, that stops you from putting it out. And I'm talking to everybody watching this because you've probably have something that you're not sharing yet, and recognizing, okay, I'm not bad or stupid or weak or lazy for not doing it. I just still have some programming telling me that the dangers of putting myself out there are more consequential than the dangers of just keeping my gifts and talents inside. So yeah, why don't we do some tapping around that?
Sure. I'd love to. Yeah, I do quote you a lot about the statue of David, and like what we're doing is tapping away. Yes, I literally love that so much.
So Michelangelo said, The statues are already there, perfect inside the marble. And all we have to do is chip away what doesn't belong to reveal the masterpiece that's inside. And that to me is the perfect metaphor for what we're doing with EFT, is that best version of ourselves, happiest, healthiest, most successful version of ourselves is already in there. What is all the fear and shame and guilt and doubt? Tap, 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 tap.
Yes.
Chip it away. And it's like, whoa, look what's underneath.
Yes, we're already magnificent. That's how I help people learn that we're focusing on the negative in order to clear it out. We're chipping away at that marble. I kind of also like to say the sky is always blue. All we're doing is like when the clouds come, it doesn't mean that the sky's not still blue, right?
I love that metaphor. I've used that too. It's like, that the sun is still out there.
Yes.
It may be covered by clouds, but you don't say, oh, wow, there's no sun today. It's like, people use that expression, there's no sun today. It's like, well, there is. It's just blocked by clouds.
Yes. So
just
help
clear
me
those
God.
clouds.
Help me clear away any clouds.
Yeah. So everyone go ahead and close your eyes. Take a deep breath in and let it go. And just think about some project, some place where you could be sharing your gifts and talents. And, whether it's putting that book out there, whatever it might be, and just following your breath through your body, just allow yourself to be aware of those parts of you that might be freaking out. Saying, that's not safe. It's not acceptable. Who do you think you are? Whatever those feelings might be, and allowing yourself to be curious and not judgmental. It's not a matter of judging yourself for having those doubts. It's a matter of going, oh, isn't that interesting that part of me has that fear? Just allowing yourself to be aware of where you feel that in your body. On a scale of 0 to 10, how strong that resistance might be. And notice what thoughts, beliefs, or memories might come up as to why you couldn't or shouldn't allow yourself to put yourself and your work out there. Take a deep breath, open your eyes. So Steph, where's that, on a scale of 0 to 10, how much resistance are you feeling at the moment?
There's quite a bit, actually. It was like 7 or 8 resistance. Like I felt really safe thinking about it, like sharing it with my 5 besties. My 5 bestie writing buddies. But beyond that, I'm like, ah.
Yeah. And I feel because
let's see.
What are you most afraid of?
That's a great question. It's almost like it's not really real. It'll be real, but it's not like, if a lot of people read it, it's going to be really real. I don't know if that makes sense. What's that resistance?
And again,
maybe fear of being seen.
Fear of being seen. And so for everyone, you may not know exactly what you're afraid of. So you can just be aware of, I can't tell what I'm afraid is going to happen. I just know that my heart is beating, or I get this tension in my shoulders, or whatever it is. It's the great thing with EFT is we don't always have to know specifically in words what's going on. We just know, okay, I'm feeling some anxiety. I'm feeling some fear. And for anyone who has a project that you want to put out there and you're feeling fear and you're mad at yourself, look, Steph's an EFT practitioner and she has that resistance. I'm an EFT practitioner. I've had this resistance. So even the people with the tools still have these feelings. So don't feel like, oh, there's something wrong with me that I have resistance. It's just part of it. Listen to a great book right now called Behave by Robert Sapolsky about human behavior and the neurology behind it. And it's a great thing about how distrust is actually a learned thing. We are trusting as babies for the most part. There are some children who are born with because of in utero things that might have happened. But for the most part, we're trusting, and we learn to distrust. We learn to have this fear about putting ourselves out there. As kids, certainly as little kids, we would draw a picture and show it to everybody. There wasn't that fear. So it's something that's learned. So as Master Yoda said, you must unlearn what you have learned.
Mm-hmm.
So let's do some unlearning.
Okay.
Even though I have this fear of being seen,
Even though I have this fear of being seen,
I choose to love and accept myself anyway.
I choose to love and accept myself anyway.
Even though I have this fear of being seen,
Even though I have this fear of being seen,
I choose to love and honor myself anyway.
I choose to love and honor myself anyway.
Even though I have this fear of being seen.
Even though I have this fear of being seen.
And you'd think with these YouTube videos I'd made that I'd be over this.
You would think about after making a YouTube channel and putting myself out there, I would be over this by now.
A book should be easier than actually having my face and voice on video.
A book should be easier than having my face on a video, tapping on my face.
And even though I still have this fear of being seen.
And even though I still have this fear of being seen,
I choose to deeply and completely.
I choose to deeply and completely
love, honor, and accept myself.
Love, honor, and accept myself.
And maybe anyone else who might contribute to this fear.
And maybe anyone else that might contribute to this fear.
All this fear of being seen.
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 And not just being seen.
And not just being seen.
But then criticized.
But then criticized.
And maybe there's a part of me that says.
And maybe there's a part of me that says.
Tapping on a video.
Tapping on a video.
Is easier than a book.
Is easier than a book.
Because writing a book.
Because writing a book.
Raises people's expectations.
Raises people's expectations.
Any goofball can tap on video.
Any goofball can tap on video.
But when you write a book.
But when you write a book.
You're an author.
You're an author.
Meaning people expect you to be an authority.
Meaning people expect you to be an authority.
And maybe part of me is saying.
Maybe part of me is saying.
Not everyone's going to accept me as an authority.
Not everyone's going to accept me as an authority.
And they might unaccept me in very vocal ways.
They might unaccept me in very vocal ways.
And I'm afraid I couldn't handle that.
I'm afraid I couldn't handle that.
I can handle my buddies reading this.
I would love for my buddies to read this.
Because I trust that they'll be kind to me.
Because I know and trust that will be kind to me.
I know that there are people out there.
I know that there are people out there.
That I can trust to be very unkind.
That I can trust to be very unkind.
See them every day on social media.
I see them every day on social media.
Why would I want to put myself out there?
Yeah, why would I want to put myself out there?
Knowing that these people will be critical.
Knowing that these people will be critical.
Knowing that these people will judge me.
Knowing that these people will judge me.
Of course, the truth is.
Of course, the truth is.
There are people judging me anyway.
There are people judging me anyway.
Whether I write a book or not.
Whether I write a book or not.
Whether I share my work or not.
Whether I share my work or not.
Nobody is free from judgment.
Nobody is free from judgment.
So there's no reason to be afraid of it.
There's no reason for me to be afraid of it.
So I choose to clear this fear.
I choose to clear this fear now.
I have something to share.
I have something to share.
And it's going to benefit a lot of people.
It's going to benefit a lot of people.
It's not going to benefit everybody.
It's not for everybody.
Because that's true of all of us.
That's true of all of us.
Throughout history.
Throughout history.
There has never been anyone who is universally accepted.
There's never been anyone that's universally accepted.
My greatest heroes.
My greatest heroes.
Had a lot of detractors.
Had a lot of detractors.
Received a lot of criticism.
Received a lot of criticism.
So why should I expect it'll be different for me?
Yeah, so why should I expect it'll be different for me?
But do I really want to say to those people?
Do I really want to say to those people?
Who are going to benefit from my work?
who are going to benefit from my work.
Yeah, I'm sorry I can't share it with you.
Yeah, I'm sorry I can't share it with you.
Because there's this minority over here who's going to hate my work.
There's this minority over here that's going to hate my work.
The majority is going to love it.
The majority's going to love it.
And some people aren't going to.
And some people aren't going to.
And I refuse to deprive the majority.
And I refuse to deprive the majority.
And even if it's a minority that likes my work,
and even if it's a minority that likes my work,
it's still going to be right for those people.
It's still going to be right for those people.
Even if it's only 5 people.
Even if it's my 5 people.
I'm not going to shortchange them.
I am not going to shortchange them.
Because other people aren't ready for it.
Because other people aren't ready for it.
And the people who criticize me today.
And the people who criticize me today.
Might be my biggest fans tomorrow.
You might be my biggest fans tomorrow.
Happens all the time.
It really does happen all the time.
Even Brad, who's a huge Bowie fan.
Even Brad, who's a huge Bowie fan.
Didn't like the first Bowie song he heard.
Didn't like the first Bowie song he heard.
And couldn't understand why people bought David Bowie albums.
He couldn't understand why people bought David Bowie albums.
And he got better.
And he got better.
My detractors might get better.
My detractors might get better.
And I don't give them that opportunity unless I put myself out there.
I don't give them that opportunity unless I put myself out there.
Clearing this fear.
I'm clearing this fear.
I've got nothing to be afraid of.
I really have nothing to be afraid of.
And even if people are harshly critical.
And even if people are harshly critical.
I don't have to feel any pain about that.
I don't have to feel any pain about that.
It's a shame they're missing out.
It is a shame they're missing out.
I hope they get better.
I hope they get better.
Maybe they'll take a second look and that'll help them get better.
Maybe they'll take a second look and that'll help them get better.
But I have to put myself out there for them to have a first look.
I have to put myself out there for them to have a first look.
And I'm clearing any remaining fear about that.
Yeah, I'm clearing any remaining fear about that.
Setting myself free to be seen.
Setting myself free to be seen.
In body, mind, and spirit.
In body, mind, and spirit.
And take a deep breath. You never know where these are going to go.
You never know. You never know. And I kept feeling the whole time like, gosh, that would be a disservice if I didn't share this.
Amen.
That would be like not cool if I didn't share this.
Ultimately, and when I tap on things like that, I try not to make it a shaming thing. Like you should be ashamed of yourself for hiding your gifts. And, we're told to not hide our light under a bushel. It's not about shaming. It's not about judging. It's about being curious and go, yeah, why would I do that? Because I am doing a disservice. If people don't like it, they can move along, They can walk past my book. Every time I go to the bookstore, there's a lot of books that I walk right past, and that's okay. But for someone, that book is going to be the book that changes their life, or whatever it is for anyone watching this, whatever it is that you do, whatever your gifts and talents are. I've had people, it's so great that you're making videos, and I've seen some of your videos. They're great. And there's people out there who will say, Brad, you have so many videos. Why should I, who am I to put a video? It's like, because there's going to someone who's going to hear it from you that they can't hear it from me. There are people who watch your videos and go, I love tapping with Steph. I wouldn't even watch Brad's videos. And because that's how it's meant to be. We're not all meant to be the right person for everybody. But we have to put it out there for whoever it is that's meant to see it from us.
Absolutely. I swear I have a girlfriend like that 10 people could tell me something and she tells me and I get it. I just like it. I get it in my heart. And I'm like, I'm so glad when that happens. Not all messages don't come through the same way.
And it's understanding, and sometimes I just tab like this, and folks, I encourage you to just take the opportunity to keep clearing whatever comes up. We as human beings have a negativity bias. So we might say, yeah, out of 10 people, 9 people might absolutely love my book, my video, whatever. But that one person who doesn't like it, that's going to be more crippling. Because in the early stages of evolution, it's like I might see 10 trees filled with fruit, and over here I see a snake. I need to focus on the snake because the damage from that snake is more threatening. The threat of that is greater than the benefit of the fruit in this field. So I need to get out of this field, even though that fruit is there. So it's allowing ourselves to recognize that and going, yeah, but that critic probably isn't that venomous. This is not a life or death situation. If somebody has a critical comment, I've been posting these videos about being, the Oscar gift bag and the thing. And I got a comment, I've been getting all these comments going, oh, that's so great. Congratulations. You deserve this. And someone wrote and said, I used to admire you, but if you have anything to do with those corrupt elite Hollywood people, you've lost a follower and a student. And it's like, I'm sorry that you misunderstood, but it's not like, oh, I can't believe I did that Oscar gift bag. I'm so wrong. And it's like, wow, and this person's doing the best they can from their stuff. They're around people saying, oh yes, Hollywood is evil and this and that, and anything associated with that. And she said, well, I guess it's all about the money, huh? And I'm like, this was not about money for me. I don't expect to make back on book sales what it costs to have the books printed and shipped and to all of these people. It's about spreading the message. And I said, and if you think these people are so corrupt, don't you think they could use some tapping?
Yes.
So it's allowing yourself to know that, hey, what I'm up to is a good thing. And it's okay if some people don't see it. And it doesn't mean that I'm wrong. And I shouldn't have written that book. I shouldn't have made that video. I shouldn't have given that concert. Just allowing yourself to be okay. It's like, I know what I'm up to. And there are going to be people who misunderstand and for whom I'm not going to be the right audience. Well, I'm not going to deprive the other people because of that.
Truly. And my book really isn't for everyone. It's for EFT for highly sensitive people. Excellent. And so, because I've always been highly sensitive, and EFT has helped me so much, literally in every single area of my life, and be able, because sensitive people tend to take on that rude comment online a little bit easier. They tend to take on the energy in the room that's not theirs a little bit easier. And it turns out that 20% of our population is highly sensitive. So this is a really great tool to kind of go, okay, I don't need that fear. It's taking me from my light. I don't need that frustration. I don't need that sadness right now, because all of our emotions really have good purpose.
There are no negative emotions. There are uncomfortable emotions, but they all serve a purpose. And I don't know if I've asked you this before. Do you know Elena Herdickerhoff?
I don't know. It sounds
she has a TED Talk on highly sensitive people.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, she's my personal coach.
No way. Oh my gosh. Wow. I will check her out.
Yeah. So
that's amazing.
And because she'll want to, and I'll tell her about your book, but
wonderful. So. Yes. Yay. We'll have to, I'll send you a copy when I've got it. And excellent. Yeah, I'm so excited about, now I'm excited. Now I want to hear, I can't wait to give it to you.
And I'm not one of those 5 people. You just made it 6.
You're tapping. Helps. Thank you.
And I hope everyone watching this is now getting excited about, I want to share my stuff. I want to be seen. And that's the thing is I've often said to audiences, I'm not here for you guys. I'm here for all of the people who are going to receive the benefit from what you set yourself free to deliver.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Wow, that gave me
this
the
tapping
chills.
round was not for you, Steph. This tapping round was for all the people who are going to read your book and go, I am so glad that Steph wrote this book.
Mm, totally. Totally. Wow, thank you. A lot of people are saying thank you for that. It's a ripple effect. It's for all those relationships that are, could benefit from less like energetic debris, really, that's hurting it or straining it.
Yeah.
Or that work performance. You can really tap on anything, as
Tap on everything.
as all
Or
of our
try it on
videos
everything.
show. Yeah.
Yeah. And that's the thing is, as we allow ourselves to use this on a regular basis and clear the stuff that we don't know is there. You know, it's like, oh, okay, I'm aware that I'm afraid of publishing my book, but throughout the day, there may be all kinds of things where we're stopping ourselves and we're not aware of it. All kinds of places where we're in a state of, and it may not be anxiety, but something less than ideal. And we're not aware of it. And we just go, whatever. You know, if it's not costing me money or it's not hurting me in, in a way that I have to go to the doctor, then it's not something I have to worry about. It's like, I want to make life even better.
Mhm.
And as we set ourselves free, what else is possible? It's like, what is the difference that I can make in the world as I set myself free from these things that might be holding me back in all kinds of subtle ways?
Mhm.
That book that you don't even know that you want to write yet. You may not even be at the point of, I have this book that I've written this book and now I want to publish it. There may be a part of you, it's like, I have an idea for a book. No, shut up. No, just and other people talking about books they're going to write. And it's like, yeah, no, I have no idea for a book because there's some old thing there. And it's like, so as we tap more regularly, ideas come to us. It's like,
Mhm.
here's a way I could make a difference.
Absolutely. That's actually probably my favorite thing to tap on is, even though I don't know I don't know how this happened or where this comes from or when this started, I'm willing for this to just clear right out of my system anyways.
Yeah.
I don't even have to have conscious knowledge. I mean, sometimes it's nice to know, but things can clear without us even really having conscious knowledge of what it is.
Yeah. And things happen that we haven't tapped specifically on, but there's all kinds of good that can come to us. Whenever I do these challenges, it's a whole week of doing live tapping. And so it's a lot of really powerful tapping with a live, hundreds of people online at the same time tapping. And something always really, really cool opens up. So that's when I got the notice, oh, we'd like to interview you and have you on TV. It's like, very cool. It's not like I was going, even though I'm resisting a TV appearance and I need to clear that. It's like just whatever blocks that I had to, being seen in a bigger way. And then all kinds of really cool things can show up out of the blue.
Absolutely. I have a weight loss course, tapping for weight loss course, and I run a group through it like once a year. And last time I did it, this gal was like, I lost a little bit of weight, but that wasn't it. My business exploded. My business totally just took off, like times 10 in 1 month.
Yeah.
And she was like, I don't know what this is about, but I'm in. So because we don't know it opens us up to, I think, to the magic of the universe really providing. And because it's I always think of it, Pam Grout in her book, she says that she tells a story where she went to Esalen for the weekend, and her like friend were just like freezing. They were in one room and they were just like so cold. And in the morning they woke up and there was literally a heater right there with a plug into the wall. But they got there at night and didn't see it. Like, that's how I imagine how this works, is we just have to plug. It's already there for us. We just have to plug into it.
Right.
And if we have those clouds, we can't see.
Absolutely.
We don't know
Those blinders that keep us,
Mhm.
keep those things in the dark, those opportunities that it's like, How long has that been there?
Yeah.
How did I miss that? Well, and again, it's not beating ourselves up.
Mhm.
It's, whatever, all kinds of different things that might be going on that we didn't allow ourselves to see it. And instead of beating ourselves up for not seeing it before, it's like, oh, good on me for allowing myself to see this now.
Mhm. Totally. If beating ourselves up worked, I would say we should go for it, but it really doesn't work at all.
Every so often, we might motivate ourselves to do something and get some sort of gain. We see, oh, see, there. But for the most part, no, it's certainly never the healthiest way to do it. Definitely not the most joyful. Most of the time, we've learned it from other people. Oh, I remember, you know, mom always beat herself up over her weight, so that's the way you're supposed to do it. And we never even go, it never actually caused you to lose any weight. We never, so many of the habits and patterns we've picked up from our parents and from other people throughout our lives never actually worked for them.
Mhm.
but they did the best they could, and we then get into a place of, well, I don't want to make them look stupid, so I need to do it the way they did it to honor them or whatever, to validate them. And it's just giving ourselves permission to know that's not serving anybody.
Mhm.
It doesn't help them.
Mhm.
Beating myself up doesn't help me. I talk about this sometimes when I talk about how self-sabotage is misguided self-love, and allowing ourselves to recognize, okay, whatever this habit was that was, objectively unhealthy, whether it's physically, like, eating a pint of ice cream or whatever, or professionally, not getting the book published, not answering those phone calls, not, you know, getting that report done, whatever it might be. Part of it says this is keeping me safe uh, from some other possibility that feels scary to me.
Mhm.
And then we beat ourselves up rather than saying, oh, thank you for protecting me. We beat ourselves up, which is also brilliant, because it's what we're supposed to do. If you're not getting it right, if you're not succeeding, you should be hard on yourself. You should motivate yourself. You should crack that whip and beat yourself up. So I'm doing the right thing. I may not have gotten the best result, but
Mhm.
I'm addressing it in the correct way. Get brownie points for that.
Mhm.
Plus, it's a great way to kill time. Because if I didn't sit here beating myself up, I might go, oh, I could actually do that now. So it's like, oh, I didn't get my book released, yesterday, and I said I was going to release it. I guess beat myself up for that today. Well, I could release it today. Oh, no, no, no. I'll release it later. But no, I need to spend some time beating myself up first, because that's what's supposed to be done. So I brilliantly avoid releasing the book for another day. And then tomorrow I'll have to beat myself up for waiting another day, and so on. So it's allowing yourself to see that beating yourself up is another self-sabotage tool that is misguided self-love, because as long as I'm beating myself up, I just don't have time to
Yeah.
rectify whatever I was beating myself up for.
Yeah, beating yourself up takes a lot of energy and
Yeah,
time.
time and energy. And so it keeps us from doing that thing that we were afraid of doing.
Mhm.
So it's brilliant. Now knock it off.
Yeah.
That was going to be the name of my TED talk, was your
Oh,
self-sabotage is brilliant. Now knock it off.
I love it. I love it. I hope that is that going to happen? Are you doing a TED Talk anytime soon?
Yeah, not anytime soon, because I don't think they would allow me to just tap for 18 minutes. And for me, I always want to deliver messages in tappings.
Yeah. I've
Oh,
tapped for
you have to rehearse it down to the word. And it's like, I don't know.
yeah, there is kind of sometimes some for me too, like this intuition that comes through. You don't always know it's really hard to script every single word.
That's why I have in my videos, you hear me screw up on words all the time. I've done it several times throughout this interview, because sometimes the thoughts come faster than my mouth can move. And so someone might say, well, but it makes more sense if your videos were perfect and had no flubs. So you should, write the script out and memorize it and then say it. It's like, that wouldn't work, because I would be in the middle of the process and have another idea. It's like, oh, now I want to say this. because it's an intuitive process. Like there's
Really?
no way for me to do it perfectly. So there are only a few times where I'll flub up so much that it throws me off. It's like, all right, stop the recording. And there are those times where I've gone for maybe 10 minutes and it's like, oh, this is a really good tapping round. I'm really in it. I feel so good about this. And I mess up so bad. It's like, no, I've just lost 10 minutes of really good tapping. It's like, oh, well,
Yeah.
that's gone, because I know that when I start the camera again, it's going to be completely different.
Yeah, it's amazing. Sometimes that's like, sometimes I'll let my clients, like, they can record, or I record while leading a group or something, and something magical comes out. And I'm just like, I'm so glad we were recording and got that. Cause I don't even remember what it was, but it was good. And it's very intuitive. And I do the same thing in my videos. I mess up, or, say it again. Who cares? That's a beautiful invitation to any new tappers out there. It doesn't have to be perfect. Like, you just go for it. You really can't mess it up, I don't think.
There have been times where I'll be doing a live performance and I'll screw up on the words, and I'll say to people, okay, just wanted to stop and show you the learning lesson here, is because I know some of you want to be able to do workshops and you're thinking, I can't do a workshop until I'm perfect. So I just, messed up to show you that it's okay.
I love that. It is okay. No,
It's
yeah.
human.
It's just life. It's real.
Yeah.
So thank you so much for talking to me today. What would you say to any brand new tappers? Like, of someone who's kind of interested but not really sure, like, would you have any words of wisdom to share?
Yes. Yeah. To quote Nike, just do it.
Just do it.
Welcome. Thank you for getting over whatever initial resistance might have been there. For a lot of people, there is that initial resistance of, oh, this just looks stupid. I was interviewed by somebody yesterday or the day before, and she was saying, I'll admit, the first time I saw this, I thought, this is the stupidest thing I've ever seen. Because a coach or a doctor had said, I want you to watch these videos. And her first thought was to totally dismiss it. It's stupid, but doctor's orders. And so watched it and now loves tapping. So it's, just getting past that initial resistance and just allow yourself to find out where it takes you.
Love it. Yeah. Just try. I always am like, just try it. What's the worst that can happen? You lose 10 minutes? Well, that's pretty light. You can afford that. So
you can do it in the privacy of your own home. No one has to see that you're doing it.
You can do it right on your phone. Yeah.
My first random fan encounter was in San Francisco. I was walking along the street in Haight-Ashbury, and there's this guy out there, people out there handing out flyers for something. It was for some phone service or something. And I walked by and I go, no, thank you. And he goes, hey, wait, you're the guy on YouTube. And I said, the tapping goes, didn't want anybody to think that he is watching videos with tapping. No, it's just law of attraction stuff, right? Because it's cool to tell people you do law of attraction, but not tapping. It's like, whereas there's some people go, oh, I totally understand the science behind tapping, but law of attraction, that's woo. You never know what people are going to respond to or
you never know.
Be pushed away by.
Do you have anything coming up you'd want to tell us about, or?
Well, we're a week late, Steph, because I just did this challenge. Well, I have my retreat in Peru happen in September. That was a manifestation from the last challenge I did back in October, October. because I've on my vision board, right at the top of my vision board is Machu Picchu. And I got an email from someone saying, would you like to lead a week-long retreat in the Sacred Valley, including a trip to Machu Picchu? Oh, let me think. Yeah, I would like that. Thank you.
Oh my
So that's
gosh.
happening in September.
How exciting. So how people can find out about that on your
They
website?
can find out about that on at tapwithbrad.com, and a few
For
seats left for
real.
that.
Oh my gosh. I've never been, but it's on my list for sure. And you've been all over the world, right?
I've been to a
England.
number of places. There's still a lot of places for me to check off my list, but I've been very blessed to be able to visit a lot of cool places. Not so much in the last 2 years, but
Right.
finally getting back across the pond in a couple of months. So yeah, but this will be my first time to South America.
Well, I just want to thank you again for talking to me and tapping with me. And I feel better. I'm like, who wants to read my book? You get a book,
Excellent.
you get a book, you get a book. Oh,
Don't
so
want one? That's okay. Someone else does.
yeah.
That copy was meant for somebody else.
Yep, totally. So yeah, just thank you, Brad. And for the listeners, go follow Brad. I love his taps. They're just wonderful. And I love hearing that I can feel that while I'm watching it, but I love to hear that you do it intuitively like I do, because I feel like that's just that wonderful tapping essence coming through. And that's why it's so good.
Through us, not by us.
Yes.
Like what you said, where there's times where you say something, you don't know what it is. There are times I'll say something and go, that was brilliant. I wish I'd thought of it.
Yes. Yes. It's coming through. It's
Yeah.
like, I totally know what you mean. Like, like sometimes I'll get this weird idea. I'm like, okay, here it comes. And it just comes out perfectly through me. And so I love to hear that that's your process too.
And that's for those of you who are new to tapping, keep with it, because we open ourselves up in all kinds of ways, because, to go back to this, the excess marble, the block of marble that's around us, part of us feels it keeps us safely in there, but it also blocks all the good things that can come to us. And we become open to ideas that are there. The next great idea that could take your business or your personal life or whatever to the whole next level. The ideas and opportunities are there. And, we're just continuing to clear away that stuff that might try to keep it away. And we just open ourselves up to, as you were saying earlier, the magic of the universe. So thank you for doing that, because it's going to make a difference to more people. Your success benefits other people.
Everyone's.
Yeah. Yeah. So please and thank you.
Well, thank you so much, Brad. And I'll be chatting with you soon.
Excellent. I look forward to the next time we chat.
Bye.